And I join my colleagues in remembering Cokie Roberts and sending our prayers to the Clyburn family, including Mignon Clyburn, who served so well on the Federal Communications Commission. We will keep them in our prayers. Let me address this issue that's before us on prescription drugs. I am really frustrated. I am really upset. It doesn't have to be this way. We have a president of the United States and Donald Trump, unlike any I've seen before of either party, that's willing to lean forward and take on this issue. I was with him in the Roosevelt Room in the early part of his administration, the first year when he had the CEOs of pharma companies in there and said, I want you to get your drug prices down, and I mean it. And he has never let up on that. There's an opportunity to get a bill to the White House that would become law and help the American people. In the last Congress and the one before, the Energy and Commerce Committee worked in a bipartisan way to achieve meaningful reform in a lot of areas. Look at the work on 21st century cures, to invest in medical research and cures for people. These diseases don't pick you by your party or your background. They strike us all in our families. 21st century cures law, it's having an impact. We rewrote America's mental health laws for the first time since the last bill John Kennedy signed before he was assassinated. We did that together. We rewrote all the approval processes at the FDA for drugs, and whether it's generic or pharmaceutical or medical devices, we did it unanimously in the Energy and Commerce Committee. Under Dr. Scott Gottlieb and under the new law, the FDA approved 971 generic drugs, more than in any year in prior history. Competition in that field makes a huge difference for consumers. And as you've heard already, we passed CREATES unanimously out of the committee. That says the pharmaceutical companies can't game giving out their samples to the generic so you can get to generic. We passed that unanimously. And we did the same with pay to delay, where they prevent generics from coming to market. That came out of committee unanimously. We've done a lot of this work. A great brain trust on the Energy and Commerce Committee on both sides of the aisle. And I just implored my colleagues there today, at least give us a copy of the bill, for God's sakes. They've already announced the hearing. They did it last night to cut another day off for our ability to review it. They haven't even filed the bill yet. They'll probably do it later today. And we're going to get one witness at a subcommittee to review a complete rewrite of America's prescription drug laws. That's no way to legislate. It doesn't have to be this way. They are blowing the opportunity to get a partisan bill before the American people. And just as they did on CREATES and just as they did on pay to delay, I am sure they have loaded this thing up with enough bad policy to appease their socialist left to make sure we can't support it. We have a proven bipartisan track record in the Energy and Commerce Committee of addressing these issues just like we are in surprise medical billing, if they'll just let the committee process work. But instead, this thing is created in a completely partisan way in the back rooms of the Speaker's office so they can put out their talking points and score their political points and leave the American people hanging, because this is not going to become law. But maybe that's what they want. It's cynical. It's wrong. It doesn't have to be this way. I implore my colleagues on the Energy and Commerce Committee on the Democratic side, at least share the bill with us. They said they would if they'd seen it or had it. They've got disarray in their own conference on this issue and in the committee. American people expect us to act. And just as we're doing on surprise billing, just as we've done on these other issues I've outlined before, we are prepared and ready to do that and be full-fledged bipartisan partners to achieve meaningful results that the President of the United States would sign into law. We did it on opioids. We've done it over and over again. This is simply raw partisan politics, and it needs to stop.